安定感なくなってきてるよ。安定感がなくなってきてます。思ったより早く来ました。少々お待ちください。安定感ノッシングトゥーマッチやな。オーマイゴッドファーザー降臨。さてと、どこに行けばよかったんだな。ターコか。僕らのターコやったかな。あ、ピンは打ったと。ターコ行きます。すっごいラグい。ここやんな。ターコにあるカートマンチョスのデータ。ターコにあるって何？ここにしかとてもないよね。ここか。待って、なんか衣装。なんか渡されてたから。はい。
Welcome to the Mantius Mansion.
こんな怪しいやつ入ってたけどな。あ、仮面舞踏会みたいな感じ。ありがち。
Are you able to help me?
I'm so sorry. I can't help you, sir.
この人絶対中身可愛いわ。今声もスタイルもええ感じ。
Welcome, sir.
突然何って感じだけど。うわぁ、なんか背筋は立ち方重なってる気がする。
There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite? My goodness, Sherlock, they made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. The whores, at a guess.
You have such
Pero
pretty
esa.
hands. What can you do with them?
あ、ちょっと声が嫌やな。あらあらあら、何これもうやらしいわ。いやらしいわ。大丈夫あんた。
I need a rest from my insatiable wife.
I've worked up an appetite since the last party.
これ何？
Do you know what was here before Manchio's family bought it?
ちょっとこれ盗み聞きしちゃう。行方不明とかあるときに、あ、いけちゃった、ウェイズ投手でいけちゃった。はいはいはい。
That's what I like about this party.
ボーカルと
Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
I should write to my friend about the handsome men here. He'd appreciate it.
どこ行ったらいいんや。あ、おった。
Sherlock, friend. I wasn't sure you'd come.
普通に名前読んだけどいける
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memory.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. A time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradigm? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
あんたメガネはどうしたんや。
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
Moral.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
いらん。
I am perfectly capable of coping with myself.
私は正義の執行人。
Then I shall press you on it no further. But please do not refuse my gift. Take it with you as a souvenir of this special night.
Souvenir of what, exactly? But, all right, if only to put the matter to bed.
And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
ファビオ。鍵取ったん俺。特選情報を手に入れることに。それはええわ。何ここ。何が行われてるん。ちょっと。すっごい気になる。どうにかして見れへんこれ。おいなんやもう。ああ。これじゃないわ。書斎の奥。あれ入り口。
Ah, I know the perfect girl for you.
大丈夫です。
May I ask you something?
Don't take it personally, sir. But I know nothing about this.
怒らないよ別に。すみません、書斎どこですかね。
Let Fabio speak for himself.
書斎がどこかをファビオがどこにいるか。
I can't help you with that, sir.
本いっぱいあるなんだ。あれか、書斎の
Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
これか。なんかめっちゃいる。じゃあ
One of these books must open a secret.
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
なんか物々しい雰囲気。
My God. Was he here this whole time?
ちょっとボーゲルさん、ボーゲルさん、もうそんな気したよ僕。君ファビオ？
A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
叩かれ。
This crude tattoo partially covers a slave branding.
奴隷の印。
This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
これか。
The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it.
高そう。
The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart.
乳首かな思った。いつもラスト1個がちょっともっこりやん。なんかある。
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
そうやね、ここで死んでるな。あ、おいすちーちゃん、途中寝てしまった。全然もうむしろ今見てくれてありがとうよ。今ね、途中ってどっからかな、ちょっと軽く説明できそうやったらするけど、今第3の事件が起こってるね。第3なんかな、第4なんかな、ちょっと自分でも分からなくなってきちゃった。
What about a quick pillow fight?
大丈夫です。
An open wound spoiled the carpet.
絨毯が汚れた。
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
血がここにあるのなんでや。これ絶対まだついてるみたいな感じじゃない。まだついてるとかじゃないんかこれ。結構左まで右までいける。あ、これドンキ凶器。
It didn't break only because it was unopened.
なるほど、ここで芝居って混沌と刺して向こうで刺したんか。サーベルちゃうわ。
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
これ喫煙室なのね。 ちゃんと分煙されてる。いいえ。これ何？鏡か。こっちの部屋は何もない。これだけか？あら、衣装室。
This is a different ritual.
この儀式を読んで練習しろ。マンチョス。裸の女性が祭壇に敷かれた花の上にこだわる。儀式の進行者は儀式用の油で女性を塗り、女性の内なる豊穣を目覚めさせる。参加者たちはこの瞬間に栄唱し、母なるガイアを喜ばせる男を呼び出さなければならない。そして生命の摂理が具現化した存在である男は女性とちぎりを交わすのである。この儀式は違う。待っていたお客様を無視するな。そして彼らを退屈させないように。彼らが興味があるのはお前のざれ言ではなく、美しいお前が彼らにどれだけ奉仕できるかということだ。お前がここにいるのは命を賛美するためだ。忘れるな。お客様はお前と時間を過ごすため大金を使うのだ。カート。
How can anyone accept such behavior?
マチェスタが女の人。
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
演者たちの準備机。はいはいはい。
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note.
私のファビオへ。
For my Fabio. Manchos.
ちょっと待って。私のファビオへ。マンチョスから送ってきたファビオに。マンチョスが女か。この人演者ってこと？ファビオは演者？
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
なるほど。
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
着替えて出てったんか。おっとっと、ちょっと待って。もうちょっとなんかある。
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it.
周りに水。
Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
洗ったな、ここで。ファビオをキルした後にここで洗ったな。
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
んで客に紛れたと。
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
ああ、こっから戻る。おっと、めっちゃ普通におるやん。
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts, but I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Pull yourself together, Werner. Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh. Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were...
Filling time?
Waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
なるほど。
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil... Not this travesty that seems straight out the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh, yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer, too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
Matista.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
マティスタが女の人で、これカードをちょっと見なさい。はい、手紙どこ行った？手紙取ったか。
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
マンチョス誰？カート・マンチョスか。マティスタマンチョスデーやから、カート・マンチョスはゲイなのか、つまり。マティスタには厳しく当たっとったみたいな感じか。オッケーオッケー、分かってきた。 人間関係は分かってきた。
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry. The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars. The ointment smells mouse-like. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger. The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. The wounded person was here for some time. A bloody handprint on an armchair. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps, perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
推理のお時間。ここはもう刺してる。これやな。最初ここか。違う違う違う。これやな。殺した後か。あれ？
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here. I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
なるほど、犯人まだおるってことか。
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
よし。さあカートを探すけど、金色の星の仮面をかぶっているか遺体を発見してくる。なんか怪しい声が。
Sherlock, don't forget to find the information I need before the guests leave.
金色の星の仮面。星の出資者。なんでわかんない。金色の星。
Help me, please.
No, I've heard nothing. But I can help you with something else.
強かり女性に声を
Curtains
かけ
do
る。
not
びっ
guarantee
くりした。
privacy.
And you still
coming,
need a
Sherry.
crack, despite being ethereal.
Give me another second.
金色の、いや男やんな。何色君？金か。星やろ。星が頭の上にあるけど。緊張し不安定。
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
男色
As you
かや
wish,
な。
Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
知らんやつおった。
Santos. Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on? Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
あれ？
Look at you. Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand and apologize for the inconvenience.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
We should have listened to the guests.
話がトントン進んでおり
Now I
ま
have
す。
nothing to write about.
まあいいや。遺体発見の報告を受け、強制捜査の許可が下った。で、いっぱい逮捕しましたよーんと。で、ファビオが殺されてますと。ボゲルは被害者によって書かれた抽象の手紙を所持していた。遺体を発見したのは自分だと主張している容疑者はその風変わりの性格で悪の高い人物をホームズは複数の証拠を携帯していた。なるほど。マンチョスは悪魔的パーティーの主催者。被害者に保証を支払い儀式に参加させた。事件現場に入ることができる。マティスタ・ファビオの相棒として儀式に参加していた。逃走を試みたのに抵抗した。はいはいはい。なるほど。
Back on track to solve the case.
サントス・ピンチェッティはグランドサレ地区のマンテステで発生したと思われる殺人事件を通報した目撃者。なるほどね。サントスが壁には血で奇妙な印が描かれたダガーが心臓に刺さっていた。はいはいはい。なぜこいつは知ってるんかなっていうのと、こいつが通報してんな。怪しいサントスさん。このチケットの提供者に62、60番の事件の証拠すべて調べる。なるほど。一旦着替えよう。着替えれなかった。他は何もないのか。もの遅いなこれ。
Look, I found Werner.
ワーナー。着替えたいねんけど。いけたー。はいはいはい。これか？いやこれやな。はいはいはいはい。OK、いつもの確保です。どうもシャーロック・ホームズ出所いたしました。これから顧問警察として頑張っていきたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。 こです。
This area is restricted.
ここは立ち入り禁止と。どこにいるんですかみんな。記憶の宮殿。サントス怪しすぎるやろ。関係ない。ボーゲルが逮捕されているのもいいや。こうかな。ファビオ・ワカートからせやな。目撃者の供述。62、60番の実験っていうのがこれやな。どこっすか？捕まってる、取り調べられてるんじゃなかったっけ？なんかおる。
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the boars again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy, after all.
I need to examine you first.
まずは観察。化粧をしている男色か。酒屋で染毛剤によるし。急いで手を洗った。爪の下。急いで手を洗った。非常に贅沢な靴。年齢を隠している潔癖症。過剰な時計を持った。体をなるほど。自分を若く見せようとして。いや。潔癖症やったら別に黒染めせえへん。化粧をする。若く。いやでも手を洗う。いや。
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true labourers, I see. What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of mud?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him. You'd better ask someone else.
そうか。
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
はい。どうも。誰ですか?
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
結構強そうな見た目してんな。なんか誰かに似てんな。愛かな。最近つけられた。歌手の愛に顔似てるな。ほう。爪を噛んでいる。元奴隷。なるほど。長年にわたるやると始めたから彼女は逆に体を敵が好きなのに彼女は一線を越えテストは体に入れ墨を入れている。神秘主義に 彼女はオカルトの印。過去の出来事を忘れようとしており、演者としての生活。自分でつけてると傷。神経質。変わんねえ。こっちか。
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Hi.
I know I can handle the news.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
I can't follow you here.
違うと思いながらやりましたけどね。はいはいはいはいはい。
I can't follow you here.
いや違うと思いながらやりましたけどね。はい。
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti.
Do I know him?
The major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you?
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
知らないか。
This area is restricted.
なんすか。出ていいっすかね。え、何あんたら。おお、すげえラグい、すげえラグい、すげえラグい。ちょっと待って、ちょっと待って、あっぶねえ、なんかあっぶねえ、あいつらの周りめっちゃラグい。え、何？ 応援だけど。
Don't look at them. They'll serve us if necessary.
いや、ラグラグラグラグラグラ。あぶね。何あいつら。チーターか、あれが。チーターでパーティー組んでんのか。
I'll visit you later.
何が？あ、これさっきの人か。突然喋り出すからわからなかった。これは別に、
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I've nothing to say about this.
分かってた分かってた。で、僕が求めたのはこう。
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
これあれ
They brought him in,
勝手に
Mr.
呼んでくれ
Holmes.
るパターン。
Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
7番。あれラグくなくなって。あ、いや、ちょっとなんか、ちょっと、やっぱりあいつら。何や、もう。あの人たちめちゃくちゃ強い。覇気まとってるからね。近く通っただけで動きが遅くなるなんて。ノロノロビームよ、ノロノロビーム。7番か。絶対8番連行されてくる人おるやん、じゃあ。どうも。
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
ちょくちょく嫌味挟むよな、ホームズ。イギリスっぽい。感染または過敏性。なんかお金あんまもらってない。お金あんまもらってないっぽさすごいな。血を踏んでるやないか。十分な金をもらっている。十分な金もらってないんじゃないの。
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money trouble?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
付け用のワックスの瓶と収納ランプが当てられる。ん？カードマンチョスの遺言状。なんかとりあえずめちゃめちゃ嫌われてるやん、あんた。
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
めちゃめちゃあるやん。いろんな可能性があるね。こっちかな。逮捕されたのは手紙のせい。警察に密告したのはサントス。オラオラオラオラオラオラオラオラオラオラオラ。どれにも合わない。じゃねえかな、普通に。ボーゲルが逮捕されたのここはつなはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはい。なるほど。こうなってきたらちょっと 前よ。
That's not something I know much about.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him. I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
そこはあまりない。こうなってきたらちょっと難しくもないか別に。
I know you can untangle this mess.
OK もう大体分かった大体分かった。
This area is restricted.
大体分かったけどもうちょっと待ってね。ちょっとあいつらマジで怖い。ふっ。これなんか調べれるんじゃん。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
え？使えるやつこれしかない。
Help me, please.
I usually have an answer for everything, but not for this.
はい。証拠か。証拠品の立ち入り禁止コーナーか、さっきのやつは。インスペクターズ。
Is this familiar to you?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
もうすげえもうあの3人が怖え。なんで飲める？
This area is restricted.
立ち入り禁止やって言われて。
Could you help me?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
事件の証拠はどこにあるの
？Please let me out.
まあ落ち着いて。あ、てか持ってるもんとかあれか。机の上に置いてる感じか。全然何もあらへんや。全然何もあらへん。全然何もあらへんや。おっと、ここからどうすればいいのかわからなくなってきた。
This area is restricted.
喋りたいねんけど、あんたと。やっぱこっちちゃうかな。
Are you able to help me?
Hey, Toff. You have exactly 1 minute to
訪問
get
者みたいな意
lost.
味やったかな。何やったかな。あ、今近づいても大丈夫っぽい。
May I ask you something?
あ、もうあかんあかんあかんあかん。危ない危ない。
Oh, I am bored.
危ない。
Call me when you find the answer.
やられかけだぜ。助かったぜ。ちょっとお姉さん。ここには別に何もない。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
あ、はい。ん？出ていい？
Did you hear Basilio Capello is in jail? A dead body was found in his showroom.
In the police. Let's pretend to be cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
全然関係ない。すいません、失礼します。チーフインスペクターフラッシュと証拠品置き場はどこかな。
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
めっちゃある。
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
誰の
A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
KM マンチェス
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone.
ボーゲルの証拠箱の中だ。確かな、あなたは自分の憎しみを制御できていない。少なくとも僕の周りではね。僕にお見通しだ。僕は僕が決めた人と一緒に過ごし会話し遊ぶんだ。僕はマティスタじゃない。僕は金をもらっているが、あなたは僕の飼い主じゃない。もちろんあなたからの寛大な援助は返さないよ。いくら受け取ってもあなたの感情の爆発に、さらされる私にはならないけどね。僕とあなたの関係はもう終わりだ。マティスタはまだいるだろうけどね。ファビオよりおっとボーゲル
Not the time for privacy.
ボーゲルさん
An emergency kit for boredom. Her key to the altar room.
突然ボーゲルさん怪しいよ。
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. That's not for bedtime reading. That's not...
すいませんすいません。
This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
マティスのカバンからオカルトの本が発見された、カート氏が持っているものです。近日中に他界した大切な人間を裸体にせよ。火星と金星の紋章を描くことで汝の力を増幅させる。男そして女の本質の力を使い、男の心臓を金色のダガーで貫き、汝を愛さない血を取り除け。汝の愛を示す紋章を描け。蘇生を待つ間、魅惑の呪文を暗唱せよ。あれ
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room.
なんか全員怪しいぞ。
Werner's personal sketchbook. Thank you, officer.
突然全員怪しくなったぞ。カートは大丈夫かな。一気に全員怪しなってもうた。やったー、愛の力。ちゃうんや。 サントスの証言と手紙の内容から考えて、手紙はカートマンチェスになるほどね。カートに当てたのかもしれない。はいはいはいはいはい。そうなったらカートが怒る可能性あるよな。カートが儀式する可能性もあるんか。あらあらあら。はいはいはいはいはい。でどこや。また3人組おる。怖い。3人組が怖いよ。めちゃめちゃカート怪しなってるって。どうしよう。
This book, The Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
So this call.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me. But I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
みんなファビオ好きやん。みんなファビオ好きやん。
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you perform?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
こいつはちゃうっぽいな。こいつは儀式信じてないもんな。ほなあの女怪しいな。いやでも二択よな。二択になってきてます。ちょっとどこですかここ。戻ってますやん。7番どこ？7番ここ。どうも。あれ 7番 ?1 番やった。
Please let me out.
お前もう話すことないわ。手紙。
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
Touché.
カード攻撃をざっと主張するか。うん。彼を容疑者に仕立て上げようとした。いや、おじいちゃん、どうねこの直感。でもサントスがな、サントスさんがね、そもそもどのタイミングで刺さってるのを見つけたかっていう話なんですよね。多分あの人いたんで、ボーゲルさんまだ見張ってたでしょう。こうなのよね。ちょっと待ってや、愛の力。いや、これは違うと思う。いや、もう、2択。鬼の2択。サントスかサントスかカートやねんけど、カートが自分で電話、警察を呼ぶ必要が一切ないよね。逮捕されるの分かるし、サントスやと思うねんけどな。OK。まだ喋るところ残ってるけど、
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
ファビオからの手紙がまだ残ってるんですけど、いや違う、あんたじゃなくて、ファビオからの手紙誰に見せたらいいの？
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
Are you done yet? Can I leave?
行くぜサントス。サントス。行け。
I know who killed Fabio.
So I'm free to go, sir?
Quite the opposite. I think it was you, Mr. Pincher.
That is not possible.
Allow me to explain. The blood on your shoe tells me that you were with Fabio. You stabbed him with the dagger while he was still alive. You drew a sigil on him. There was a great deal of blood. You needed to remove it. Blood is almost like glue. It sticks to everything, dries quickly, and is quite visible. But you know how to handle stains. You are Kurt Manchios's major domo. However, despite your best efforts, you missed a spot.
It doesn't make sense, sir. I was never there. I am convinced there's a reasonable explanation.
You wanted to be rid of your dear uncle. I myself barely know him and already find him intolerable. You've worked for him for years. Santos, do this. Santos, do that. He doesn't pay you. He doesn't recognize your work. He doesn't see you as family. But you thought that heritage might be yours. Instead, all you'll ever receive is mustache wax. It is painful to witness such a situation. I cannot imagine how it must be. So, you decided to frame your uncle. Put the blame for Fabio's murder on him. That way, the heritage is yours, and you are free.
Half of what you say is true. I'm in pain. I have had a hard time with my uncle, but I'm not a murderer. I can't even stand up to my uncle. How could I have killed Fabio? He did nothing to me.
He was a source of your troubles too, though. Especially since Mr. Manchios treated him like... You staged this decadent ritual so you would not be suspected. After a short fight, you knocked Fabio unconscious. You locked the door and dragged the body to the altar. You wanted to set up someone acquainted with this masquerade.
I don't have the nerve to kill or stage a murder. I can't even leave my uncle's house.
Your uncle is a cruel man. He used everyone around him to his advantage. I don't believe he even truly loved Fabio. You knew very little love, support, or care from him. You lost your mind, Santos. And innocent people were... I can't allow you to go free, but I can try to help you. I can provide my findings to the police. Decadence and perversity might poison anyone around.
I don't know what to say. I can't breathe. I need to go outside.
Unfortunately, you can't.
I'll remember this horror forever.
多分間違ったな。ごめん、サントス。俺多分間違った。まあ元気でな。大丈夫大丈夫。大丈夫よ。死刑にはならへんからさ。これ結論あれお前やカートや俺はマルトを見通しやぞほら
I wish everything were different. I wish everything were different.
ちょっと待ってくれ無理なんか
I wish everything were different.
無理なようやわちょっとサドスマジごめん普通に
This area is restricted.
俺はなんか
I know you can untangle this mess.
いや多分できんかってんよ
Constable. Santos Pinchetti killed Fabio. The evidence is clear.
Is that so? A man like him has actually grown a pair.
He intended to set up his uncle for the inheritance. The old man had humiliated him for years in every possible way.
Oh, what a bunch of degenerates.
Well, as for Mr. Pinchetti, the evidence tells us that he was wronged and pushed to commit a crime to be rid of his uncle. I suggest that you help in easing his sentence.
That's a sad story, all right. but at least it's good enough for my promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered the discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones, including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
巡査です。自分多分間違えましたけど、まあそれはそれこれはこれで。
Don't forget the file.
おっす。あれどこっすか。おっす。到着した捜査官によってその庭の遺体バルト・ホームズ。庭で死んでたんか。全体が水で濡れて、喉が石灰。顔は膨れ上がり赤い斑点に覆われていた。低酸素症。オットー・リヒターを現場で逮捕した。遺体が検視のために移送された。
Garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Sherry, it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
どこから声聞こえた今。よし。ねそれではメインミッションの方に行きたいと思います。ちょっと出ます。あなた、やめて。
Oh, you did it, Sherlock. The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo.
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decision?
Whatever the truth, it had to be revealed. The victim deserved it.
Well, you seem confident in the value of your actions. I guess since I'm free, you were heard after all. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity. And it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
Sherlock?
Oh, yes. It's a struggle, but yes, we can make our own decisions. That's what I fight for.
What an endless fight it is. Will you ever give yourself a break, Sherlock? You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
さらば。では行かん。まだおったんかいって。もうお兄ちゃん普通に来たよ。庭、あ、裏か。お、ジョン君。
A manor all to ourselves.
でもまだそれ言ってんのかい。さあ、裏の庭、これか。1階にあるその入り口は2つの窓に挟まれているようだ。2つの窓に挟まれてる。
Sherry, please listen to me. Sherry.
John, I always listen to you.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to go through. I don't know what is beyond this door, but I can feel it. Buzzing, angry, like a fly at the window.
I know. I can sense it too.
You locked away this memory for a reason. There is only pain here.
Pain? And truth.
You do not need to suffer either. There is so much more we can do on Cordona, so many others we can help. There is no coming back from this.
John, my anima, my brother, there is nothing more important in this moment than this truth. I know you fear for me, but my path was set long ago. I can no more step off it than I can ask the avalanche to roll back uphill.
Just... please be careful, Sherry. I love you.
Quite. Come on. We'll go together. Why didn't I remember we had such a big garden?
Maybe you forgot it for your own good.
でけえ庭。すんごい。あら。
That's the descendant of a tree your father planted in London, correct?
Indeed, we planted the sprout here, and for a while it grew happily. Alas, it seems without us here to care for it, it didn't survive.
いや、どっちかというと湖が走れないだと。走れません。あれ？なんかピアノ弾いてる人いる。
Is that the raft we made together, John?
Looks more like a pile of rotten planks now.
Mother?
消えた。ああ、なんか鳥肌立ってきた。真実を知るのが怖い。
That's from Mother's.
ああ、母さんのお気に入りのティーセット。はい。FPS ホラーゲーム始まりました。バイオハザード。さあ、めちゃくちゃ。何バイオハザード7ですかね、これ。ヴィレッジ。いや、7ですね。7の最初のとこ。怖っ。ほっ、入れへん。この空間に入れへん。リヒターとお母さんがこれ。はい。あ、昔のジョン。 どうすればいいの？どうすればいいの？ジョン、あ、近い！ジョン近い！ジョン怖いよ今の。あ、なんかある。
These must help calm her down.
What are you thinking about? Is everything all right? What are you thinking about? Is everything all right?
何や今の。ジョン。ジョン、俺はどこに行けばいいんや、ジョン。ジョン、本当にどこに行けばいいんや。教えてくれ、誰か。教えてくれ。俺どこに行けばいいんや。なんかあるぞ。
Ah, yes. The statue of Merope. My mother was trying to restore it. Pity she never had the opportunity to finish.
あ、待って、なんかおる。え？ハントレス？
Don't go, mother. Wait.
ああ、母さん。これは何ですか、母さん。
I remember this artifact from mother's collection.
はいはいはい。母さん。母さん、ここは。あ。
Mother's work journal. I liked poring over the detailed pages and reading about my parents' collection.
うわ、脳が侵される。ここは母さんの部屋か。ジョン。
Here it is. We'll just borrow it for a while.
Did you hear that? Someone's coming.
あ、これ過去を体験してっていうのか。これリヒターと。
You call this progress? Charlotte, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
Any result is progress, even if it is a worsening of her condition. It informs me.
No. I have made my decision. She must be sent to a legitimate medical facility. I will not let her hurt Charlotte.
What? Master Holmes, you do not understand.
That will be all. I expect you to have left the house by week's end.
Sherry, say something. Can you hear me? You're scaring me.
聞こえてるよ。
Sherlock, I'm here. Come closer. I'm waiting for you.
母さん、そこかい。
Coming, mother. This was for my mother, wasn't it? I remember how we came to the garden for a breath of fresh air.
あ、母さん。うなじめっちゃ綺麗です。
Take me to my flowers, Sherry. They must already be in bloom.
As you wish, Mum.
前にしか行けん。下がれん。
I bet you missed the fresh air, didn't you?
Terribly. The sun is far brighter than I remember. But I like it.
We can walk each day from now on, if you want.
That would be wonderful.
優しい母やな。
Just look at them. The stars of the earth. Even the sky must be jealous of their beauty.
Indeed. Mother, would you like to go around the water?
That would be perfect. I always wanted such a nice pond in London. It looks so peaceful.
Mycroft knew you would like it.
マイクロフトが作ったんや。
We should put some fish in it, don't you think?
How about some carp?
That's a nice idea.
わかります。なんか落ちてるな。
Let's visit your father's tree. It grows so fast, just like you.
We could even build a tree house in it.
Yes, Sherry.
母さん怖いっす。
Speaking of your father, could you call him out, please?
Mom! He's... I'm sorry. He passed away. He's gone.
No, he's not.
I'm telling the truth. Did you forget again?
No! Don't you dare say such things! You are a liar like all the others!
Mother!
Don't call me that! You aren't fooling me!
No! Mom, it hurts!
My son would never lie!
Mom, stop!
Who are you? Reveal yourself!
Please, stop! It's me, Sherlock!
You are not my Sherry! Get me my stuff before I stop you!
え？ちょっと待って。いやー、そうやな。こうな いやちゃうな、これはこっちだな。ジョーンってことは自分やもんな。ジョーンか、ジョーンか。
Sherlock. Sherlock. Can you hear me? Come on, wake up.
Get off me.
Sherry.
You knew, and more than that, you hid it from me.
You couldn't bear the truth, Sherlock, so I shouldered it for you. I took your pain, your horror.
You. It was your idea. The sedative, that was you.
She was hurting us. Sherry. I couldn't bear to see you suffer.
So you killed my mother. My worst impulses, my darkest thoughts, they're you. You were a lie, John. A fiction. A crutch.
No, I was a friend. Sherlock, please.
Sherlock?
What?
Are you okay?
I don't know.
I told you not to come, Sherlock. Where is he?
Who?
Your friend, John.
He's beside you.
Was all this worth it? Is he worth it?
Why is he here?
I think, in his own way, he was trying to protect me. A truth I couldn't bear, but now I must face it.
Whoa, 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 Sherry. What are you doing?
There is only one way through.
Through what? What do you mean?
My entire life, my work, my mind, has been compromised by a malignant force, by a perversion of rationality. By you, John. You're a tumor. You're a poison.
Sherlock.
And like a tumor, you must be excised for the health of the patient.
No, this is the lie, Sherry. I protected you. I am your friend, your brother. You know me. You know me. I was always there for you. When your mother lashed out, I took the hit. When you were alone, I held you. She was sick. She needed to calm down. I helped her.
You killed her.
No. Yes. No. But it was not meant. Please. Please. I'm scared.
Are you all right?
I think, on the balance of things, no.
That is good news. To be unaffected by today's events would place you in a different pathology entirely. Your time on Cordona is over, Sherlock. Tomorrow we shall board a vessel back to London, and all this, it stays here.
He's gone. He's gone, Mycroft.
I needed to take control. He would help me, but it was a lie but he's gone. I knew he was wrong. Do you see? I am free. I just had to act. Yes. In that respect, you are your mother's son.
Why are you here?
Closure, I suppose. And to help a friend.
You and I are not friends. In a race between the thawing of the ice caps and our friendship, I would buy blood.
Ha! Is that right?
I can see it now. I know what you did.
What did I do?
You needled me. From the moment we met, you were searching for weakness. You pushed me to pursue the truth about my mother. You questioned everything I did, everything I believed, to break me. To blur truth and fiction, reality, morality. A saboteur in sin. Was it vengeance, Werner? Or do you prefer Klaus?
Excuse me?
You are Klaus Richter, Otto's younger brother. Do you hold me responsible for his end?
Ha! There was no love lost between me and my brother. I am sure you can relate. Otto was merely the gravity that pulled me into your orbit. Or you into mine. Once I met you, I could not keep away.
Why? What reason do you have for all this?
To help you.
You're lying.
To show you that you were wrong.
More lies. I know you now, Werner. Try again.
To see what had happened. Or is that yet another untruth? Does it matter? Take your pick. Who cares? You're my masterpiece. I turned Sisyphus into Ozymandias. You could not see the futility of your quest until I helped you to let go of the rock. And now, nothing beside remains.
I remain. Despite you, and to spite you.
It is a matter of will and power now. Will you overcome this, or shall you decay? Oh, on that note, I brought you something.
I want nothing more from you.
When one wants for nothing, Sherlock, the best thing to get them is something personal. So, here you are. Now, please excuse me, but the gallery calls. I'm already conceiving my next project. You really are beautiful.
I am all right. I returned to London and enrolled at Cambridge University. Their professors leave something to be desired, or perhaps I simply lack the interest in all but a few lectures. I prefer to spend my time at the local hospital pursuing things of practical use. Medical research, chemical tests and the like. Empirical truths. I try not to think about you. I try not to think about anyone unless it is in the course of an investigation. I've started to help people with their menial mysteries. It keeps the mind occupied. I cannot risk otherwise. I'm not like her. I'm not like you. I am all right. I found it. I found it! I found it!
And what is that?
How far, bruises may be produced after death. How are you? You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive.
How on earth did you know that?
Never mind. The question now is about bruising. No doubt you see the significance of this discovery of mine.
It is interesting, no doubt, but practically...
Why, it is the most practical medico-legal discovery for years. Had we these data sooner, hundreds of men would have paid the penalty for their crimes. Cases oft hinge upon how a man died. Now, we can know which wounds he suffered alive, which occurred post-mortem, and what instrument was responsible. And ergo, one will soon be able to calculate with utmost precision when and where death occurred, sparing the innocent and damning the guilty.
Well, then you are to be congratulated.
Indeed. But, you came here on business.
Correct again. I am looking for someone with whom to take diggings, and heard you were complaining that you could get no one to go halves with you.
I have my eye on a suite in Baker Street, which would suit us down to the ground. You don't mind the smell of strong tobacco, I hope?
I smoke ships myself.
That's good enough. I get in the dumps at times, and don't open my mouth for days on end. Just let me alone, and I'll soon be right. What have you to confess now? It's best for two fellows to know what bruises each other carries before they begin to live together. My last companion and I...
Well, I object to rows because my nerves are shaken. And I get up at all sorts of ungodly hours. And I am extremely lazy. I have another set of vices when I'm well. But those are the principal ones at present.
Do you include violin playing in your category for rouse?
It depends on the player. A well-played violin is a treat for the gods. A badly played one...
Oh, no, that's all right. I think we may consider the thing as settled. Oh, forgive my manners. My attention wavers. Sherlock Holmes.
Dr. John Watson.
John.
シャーロック・ホームズ、これにて、ジ・エンドでーす。いやー、皆さん、長い間ご視聴ありがとうございます。長い間かわからないですけど、こう朝起きてすぐに見てくださった方とか、あーちゃんオフィス、おはようっていうかもう昨日の夜の12時からやってるんでね。いや、やりきりました。だいたいそうですね、プレイ時間12時間ぐらいですかね。その12時ちょっと過ぎぐらいに始めたんで、だいたい12時ですね。メインストーリーだけバーって進めていったら12時間ぐらいでした。一応今回ね、マルチエンディングになっているので、まあ他の選択肢を選んでいたらっていうのもあったところではないでしょうか。犯人はちょっと途中間違っちゃったところもなんかあった気もするねんけど、あんまり気にせずにということで。一応、どうでしょうこれ、エンディングですか？飛ばしちゃいましょうか。こうエンディング後になんかあったりするかないんですよね。これコンティニューはどっからなんやろね。コンティニューってどっからコンティニューされるやろ。なるほど。ジョンじゃなかった場合もういけると。見る？最後の選択肢ジョンにしなかったパターンも見れるということですね。多分途中からはムービー一緒なんやけど、 かくなんでね、ちょっと見ちゃおうかな。ジョンじゃないバージョンちょっと行ってきます。母さんを殺したの僕だバージョン行ってみたいと思います。
Sherlock. Sherlock. Can you hear me? Come on, wake up.
Get off me.
Sherry,
You knew, and more than that, you hid it from me.
you couldn't bear the truth, Sherlock, so I shouldered it for you. I took your pain, your horror.
I killed my own mother, John. It is unforgivable.
It was an accident, Sherlock. She was mad, abusive. You were a child, simply trying to help.
How could I? How could she? You were a lie, John. A fiction. A crutch.
No, I was a friend. Sherlock, please.
Sherlock?
What?
Are you okay?
I don't know.
I told you not to come, Sherlock. Where is he?
Who?
Your friend, John.
He's beside you.
Was all this worth it? Is he worth it?
Why is he here?
I think, in his own way, he was trying to protect me. A truth I couldn't bear. But now I must face it. There is only one thing to be done.
What are you talking about?
To expect adherence to the principles of truth and justice, but to fail to hold oneself likewise accountable, it would be hypocrisy. My mother died by my hand. I must turn myself into the authorities and face the consequences of my actions.
The consequences of your actions? You were a child. She did this to you, not you unto her. You are throwing your life away in an act of moralistic vanity. Think of all you could accomplish for our nation.
This is where we differ, Mycroft. To you, the ends justify the means. To me, the means have decided the end. The truth is the truth.
Fine, Sherlock. Walk yourself into the police station and pray those men you oft embarrassed hold no grudges. If you're lucky, they'll simply exile you. If not, I'll see you in 20 years.
Are you going to berate me too? Try and talk me out of it? As I told my brother, if I cannot demonstrate the character I chastise others for lacking...
Sherry, I think this is something you will have to do yourself.
Myself? How do you mean?
All I ever did, all I ever wanted, was to protect you from what happened. And now you tell me I was wrong to try, that it was ego or hypocrisy to show a young boy kindness. But it was just empathy, creativity, and love for one's self. So please, please, Sherlock, don't do it.
Why can none of you see it? The truth is the truth. A murder is a murder. Tell me, John, why?
Because you're breaking my heart. I know. You've decided. I know. I just wish you hadn't.
I'm sorry, John. All these years we spent together, all the time I took for granted. You'll always be a part of me.
No, Sherry. That's the point. I don't think I will.
Why are you here?
Closure, I suppose.
おそらくここからは一緒でしょうということで飛ばしちゃおう。
Ha! Is that right?
I was prepared to take responsibility for my actions, but again my brother conspired against me. A little diplomatic pressure and the trial was dismissed. Instead, I was exiled from Cordona. Freedom never tasted so bitter. Another perversion of justice at Mycroft's hand. With no means, no home, and no purpose, I returned to London. I enrolled at Cambridge University, but few lectures held my interest. I prefer to spend time alone at the hospital laboratory, pursuing truths in chemical form. No one there questions my choices. I have begun to attract a desperate clientele, men that skulk after me, pleading for answers to their simple mysteries. At first, the distraction was unwelcome. Now, I find myself craving it, lest my mind drift back to the island, to Mother, to John. What was her life worth? How many adulterers and petty thieves will it take to make it right? In anything?
なるほど。
I found it! I found it! I found...
という感じになるわけですね。はい、なるほど、なるほど。まあ、あとね、モリアーティじゃねえや。モリアーティはまた別や。リヒター先生をね、犯人に仕立て上げるっていう選択肢もあるんですけど、そっちの方は、まあ、ええかということで、もし、見たいなっていう人がいたら、なんか、コメントを書いてくれたら、まあ、その動画だけ、そのエンディングの動画だけでもあげようかなと思います。はい、というわけで、皆さん長らくお付き合いありがとうございました。以上で、シャーロック・ホームズ、完結になります。最速攻略っていうのをね、やったのが初めてなんですけど、結構、意外とやれる。12時間やったら意外とやれるなと思って。また何か面白いゲームが出たらやってみたいと思います。というわけで、今日は、これが昨日の配信、今日というかもう明日というかなんというか、昨日というかなんというか分かりませんが、はい。配信はこちらの方で終わらせていただきたいと思います。ご視聴ありがとうございました。よければチャンネル登録、高評価よろしくお願いいたします。それでは、バイバイ。